Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. His new stand-up special, Guilty as Charged, premieres on Showtime this Friday, March 18th at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. It combines his trademark stunts with stand-up comedy. Please welcome Steve-O to the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, Steve-O.
Hey, man, likewise.
Good to see you.
So
when'd you get the stand-up bug? When did that happen?
I first tried it about 10 years ago, and now I've been headlining comedy clubs for the last 5.5 years.
Wow. Now, did the roast sort of get your itch going
I was already
too?
doing it when the roast came around.
The famed Charlie Sheen roast.
Right.
Okay.
And you know what? Like, what got me into it? Frankly, I'm an attention whore. It's that simple.
Well, I think you speak for a lot of healthy Americans when you say that.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I came into stand-up with a real advantage, having a built-in fan base. You know, I've lived a crazy life. People are interested in what I've done and what I've got to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And the stunts that are part of this as well.
Yeah, I really went heavy on the stunts for this special because I wanted to lure people in with the stunts and sort of convert them with the comedy.
Okay, give me one that you think would lure somebody in the most about.
Well, within 3 minutes of my stand-up routine starting, a UFC fighter comes out and chokes me out. He lifts me up in the air by my neck off the ground, and then once I'm completely unconscious, he drops me, and my head bounces off the stage like a basketball.
So, have you ever said no to an idea,
Sure.
Steve-O? Yeah,
one idea was to duct tape me heavily to a mechanical bull and just sort of leave it going with me duct taped to it.
Yeah.
It's funny, but at a certain point, I figured you got to fall off that thing, and if you're attached to it, you're going to get a spinal cord injury, and I wasn't really interested in that, so I said no.
No. Okay, so you said no. Who was the one? Was it Knoxville was the one who was pitching that to you?
I can't remember. I know the idea didn't come from Knoxville, and frankly, I don't remember where it did come from, but I just remember that being one that stood out as a no-go for me.
Well, how did this all start? How did this whole...
Well, again, I'm an attention whore.
Yes.
The skateboard led me to the video camera. I wasn't good enough at skateboarding to pursue a career doing that, so I figured I'd become a stuntman. And I dropped out of college to try to become a stuntman. I wound up going to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College and becoming a circus clown.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured that would further my goal of becoming a stuntman if I could be a trained circus professional with Ringling Brothers affiliation. And it kind of worked, and I never put down the video camera or the stunts, and you know, I was a professional circus clown, and now I've been all kinds of things since then.
And so you've been around, obviously, been there and done that, a ton of stuff. I'm here with Steve-O here on the Rich Eisen Show. The hottest topic discussion in the sports world today, Steve-O, is that a Chicago White Sox first baseman is walking away from the game in $13 million because his son, who's always around the locker room and the clubhouse, has been told that he had to dial it back the number of times that his son was going to be there. Were there kids around at all? With the Jackass? Did people bring their kids to the Jackass set over and over again, Steve-O?
Very rarely. And this story reminds me of Dave Chappelle, right? Going to Africa and walking away from a big contract.
To be...
It's crazy, yeah.
Well, I mean, the stand-up world, though, I mean, and the content creation world is a whole different... set of pressures.
I think that was like some $50 million Dave Chappelle walked away from.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But Jackass was a relatively kids-free environment. Nobody brought their children.
I would say so.
around?
Yeah, I can only remember a handful of times that we had any kids on the set.
It was not safe for kids-friendly environment.
Well, I mean, it wasn't safe for us when the kids were on the set because, you know, Knoxville would be putting the kids up to all kinds of shenanigans. So, you know, you got to look over your shoulder the whole time, and when it's a kid coming after you, like, you're much more vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm here with Steve-O here on the Rich Eisen Show. So this weekend, you're going to be doing a stunt that involves a wooden outhouse. Is that a true story?
Actually,
Steve-O?
this weekend I'm performing stand-up in San Francisco at the Cobb's Comedy Theater.
Okay.
And the following weekend I'm at the Punchline in Sacramento. So I'll be gone for 2 weeks. When I get back, that's when I've got the plan. I built a wooden outhouse. I made it out of wood. I wanted it to be like a porta potty, but to sit on top of in a patio chair. while a car drives through it. I was thinking 50 miles an hour. That might be even a little faster than we need, but I'm going to shoot it with a super slow-mo camera, the 1,500 frames per second.
Yes.
And we're going to have explosives in the porta potty. So when the car crashes through, it's going to blow up, and we'll see what happens, because I'm going to be in a chair on top.
How do you come up with this idea?
Well...
Because you are now sober for 8 years.
Yeah,
from what
I
I'm
just
reading.
celebrated 8 years, yeah.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that, by the way. So this is not
it's
substance enhanced.
It's not,
thinking.
yeah. And again, I never really did the stunts because I was under the influence. And, it's that attention whore thing.
Yeah. Right.
But I guess ideas come to me in different ways. This one, I was looking to do a number of stunts with the car. Car crashes in slow motion, and it's just more exciting if I'm kind of involved. So to figure out physics-wise what happens to me in that chair when the car crashes through.
So it's a physics thing.
It's kind of like Mythbusters.
It's science.
Right.
You're a science man more than anything else.
I'm setting
Steve-O.
out to prove that there's no way I'll get knocked forward into the path of the car.
Yes. Okay. Now, there's a couple of Tyson stories that I'd like to hit you up on.
Hey, of course, man.
Speaking of hitting, this was at the Sheen roast.
Right.
Now, again, you were a sober individual with Mike Tyson.
I was about 3 years sober at that point.
Mike Tyson sticking his fist out and you running into it. Did you have any second thoughts about that, Steve-O?
Absolutely not. It's something that I had wanted to do with Mike Tyson for many years. It was a game that we came up with, amongst the Jackass guys. Your buddy holds out his fist and you run into it with your face and trying to give yourself a black eye. We call it the black eye game. And just to play it with Mike Tyson was just sort of the ultimate goal. I had tried to talk him into it before, but it didn't work. Then at the roast, I broke my nose so dramatically, but it worked out great because I had broken my nose a year before and it had healed crooked. The nose doctor told me that he could fix it, but because it had healed that way, he'd have to re-break it with a chisel. So I passed on that, went to this roast, and I broke my nose again on Mike Tyson's fist.
Yeah.
And a guy came out of the crowd and said it for me right on the spot.
Somebody comes out of the roast crowd.
Right, yeah.
Says, I'm a doctor.
He says, no, he says, I'm a Kung Fu instructor.
And you're like, okay, that's as good as any.
It was so broken, I knew the guy couldn't make it look any worse.
So in its finished product, this was a win-win for you, Steve-O.
Absolutely. I showed up to the roast with a totally crooked nose. I had a great time there. I performed very well, and I got a Mike Tyson nose job. Left with a perfectly straight nose.
With a nose fixed by a stranger who says, I'm a Kung Fu. Do you think he really was a Kung Fu instructor?
Absolutely. He was absolutely a Kung Fu instructor and a highly talented one at that.
Obviously.
He said that he had set 20 broken noses at that point.
Now 21.
21.
Now 21.
Yeah, probably more since then, too.
And then we read the story in GQ, if you could keep it as safe for work as possible, that you and Tyson had quite a binged evening.
It was at that roast. When I told him, I said, hey, Mike, that one time where we were sort of doing illegal things in the bathroom at that party, I included the story in my book, I hope you don't mind. And he told me, it happened, you tell it. And so I got a little bit comfortable sort of sharing our sordid past.
A moment together when both of you weren't...
It was like a 3-hour moment, yeah.
In the bathroom for 3 hours?
Yeah, we had a lot of sniffle snacks to get through.
And then he gave you the verbal okay to go ahead and use it. Now, if he said no, would you have called your publisher, or the thing was already in print?
Right, it was already in print, and
so that horse was out of the barn, if you will.
It was more of like a friends thing, I didn't want to the lawyers had poured through the book and determined that it's common knowledge that both of us have that in our past. So there's no.
Very good. Look at you going. You've got everything going on with Tyson. You look great, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Your nose looks great. I can attest to the radio audience. You really look with a straight nose. I wouldn't tell it was broken ever.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And you're a handsome man yourself.
God bless. And I've never had a Kung Fu instructor ever put hands on on me.
Yeah.
Good to see you here, Steve-O. Thanks for coming on this
for
show.
Sure. Thank you.
The new stand-up special, Guilty as Charged, is this Friday, March 18th on Showtime at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And for the television audience, a clip is coming your way. Don't go anywhere, TV audience, radio show as well. We'll update you on what's going on in the NCAA tournament. Steve-O, thanks, buddy.
Hey, thanks so much,
You bet.
Rich.
Back with more here on The Rich Eisen Show.
All right.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.